Hey, this is Tyrone Jackson from my garden. Hey, here we're doing a special edition. We just recently had a special class touching on Essential Oils 101 Introduction at Gigi's Music Cafe. It was great. Nice turnout, great questions, great information shared that was mind-boggling about our health and the various things that influence our condition, our livelihood. And essential oil is a great benefit for everyone to know and invest into it because it's an investment into your health. So I'm going to turn the camera over to Tracy so we can begin to cover some things we didn't get a chance to cover in the class yesterday. So let's do that. Again, thank you, Tracy, for a beautiful opportunity of you sharing about Essential Oils 101. And we just want to quickly go into some of the things we didn't get a chance to touch on. And one of those subject matters is frequency.
Well, yes, frequency is a very interesting topic, and not many people pay too much attention to it, but every biological and non-biological thing has frequency. And frequency is a measurement of energy, electrical energy that passes through, and it's measured in vibrational waves. Those vibrational waves are measured in oscillations or megahertz. So it's the number of times that wave repeats itself is considered a megahertz. So everything, as I said, has frequency. Our bodies have frequency. You're around computers and things like that all day. Those have frequency. They let off frequency. We're affected by frequency in everything that we do. But if we take that back to the body and talk about the frequency of the body, a healthy body resonates at a frequency that's on average between 62 and 78 megahertz. That would be the frequency of a normal, healthy body. And our different organs in our bodies resonate at frequencies, separate frequencies as well, but the body overall between 62 and 78 megahertz. Then when you come down to a body that's not well, the frequency then drops. And so the frequency of a body that's not well, the one that's susceptible to disease, resonates in the area of 55 megahertz. And so when your body is resonated at that frequency, it has the ability to be susceptible to disease and sickness. What's also interesting is a body that is a dead body, a body that no longer has life in it, resonates at a frequency of about 25 megahertz. So as I said, everything has frequency, and those are some of the frequencies of a body, both well and not well.
So what are some of the items that we take in our body on a regular basis? What's some of the variation of those frequencies?
So it's interestingly enough, as I said, everything has frequency, and that would go for the foods that we eat as well. And if you take a look at, I have a chart here that talks about various foods with their the megahertz. And I don't know if you can see this chart, but on this chart it shows that, for example, processed food, canned food, it has 0 megahertz. So in terms of frequency, there's no benefit to that particular canned food. When you're looking at fresh produce, they resonate at a frequency of about 1500 megahertz. And when you're looking at dry herbs, they resonate at a frequency of about 12 to 22 megahertz. And then when you're looking at fresh herbs, they resonate at a frequency between 20 and 27 megahertz. Now, I don't want to mislead anyone to say that because the dry herbs or the fresh herbs resonate at that lower frequency, that there's no value in them. There's all kinds of value. We're talking about the value in frequency alone. But there's minerals, there's vitamins, there's nutrients that come within herbs and plants, and whether they're fresh or dry. That's what you do. You talk about the garden. So I'm not saying that there's not other value in those things, but when it comes to vibrational frequency, the megahertz is extremely low.
So what? So that's where essential oil comes in to play a major part as far as raising up your frequency to, a healthy status. And as I recall, the oil absorbs into your body, into your blood system in what, a matter of seconds?
Yes, that's true. So with essential oils, the interesting thing about essential oils is that the essential oils have some of the highest frequencies on the planet. I have a chart here. I know you're not going to be able to see this chart, but it talks about the frequencies of various essential oils. And for example, rose oil, pure therapeutic grade rose oil resonates at a frequency of about 320 megahertz. 320 megahertz. It's pretty powerful when you think about that. So that means that when you introduce rose oil to your body, you're introducing your body to something that's very powerful with a very high frequency. And with that very high frequency, it is said that the frequency of the oil has the potential and the ability to help raise the frequency in your body. And then you also asked about the oil and absorption into your body. The molecules of the essential oils are extremely tiny. They are so tiny that they can enter into the skin and they can be absorbed in, and they can enter into the very cells of your body. There's nothing else that can do that. Synthetically created medications cannot enter into your cells and do their work. They can only mimic what the life of the plant, which is the essential oils, can do. So when you're talking about using essential oils, you're using those essential oils, they're entering your body very quickly, they're entering into the very cells of your body, and they're doing your body good.
Thank you, Tracy. In regards to enhancing the bedroom time, I know as an herbalist there are certain fruits and veggies that you can blend together to enhance that moment in the bedroom, because we have out here we buy over-the-counter products to give men longer lasting moments and such, but we know some of those over-the-counter drugs or male enhancement drugs comes with side effects. And not calling out any names, some of those consist of about 15 different side effects. That's not good for your heart, your liver, kidney, etc., etc. So that's why I always personally preach natural herbs and veggies and things of that nature. But from the essential oil, can you highlight what you guys have with Young Living?
Yes. So as you mentioned, essential oils are the lifeblood of the plant, and naturally those plants have the ability to assist in all kinds of things, even enhancing in the bedroom. For example, orange oil is a natural aphrodisiac, and there is something about that orange oil that enhances the bedroom experience. There's pheromones are involved, and without going too deep into it, it only takes a drop of orange oil rubbed on your inner thigh to enhance an already good experience in the bedroom. But orange oil is not the only oil that's an aphrodisiac. There are many oils that act as aphrodisiacs and act as enhancers and target blood supply and increase blood flow. And it's worth it to take a look at some of those oils. I'm not going to rattle those off by heart right now, but I encourage you to ask questions, catch up with us, and learn about how you can use essential oils to assist in the romantic area.
Thank you. Can you tell us, there's different grades of oil, grade A to I think grade D, E, or F, I don't recall, but what's the difference between these grades of the quality of oils that exist?
Okay, so with the essential oils, there are many grades of essential oils. The grade A would be the pure therapeutic essential oils. Now, one of the things that might not be evident is the fact that the essential oil market is not regulated. The reason for that is the FDA cannot regulate something that's natural. Essential oils come from plants, plants grow naturally, and the FDA cannot regulate those. So because the efficacy of essential oils has been talked about and touted among people, everybody is trying to get into the essential oil market. And in order to get in that market, because it's not regulated, they can pretty much say whatever they want to say. So I would encourage you, if you're looking into essential oils, that you read the back of the labels, because if you're looking at an essential oil that has an expiration date, or says do not ingest, or says any myriad of things, then I would challenge you to question the purity of those oils. When it comes to pure therapeutic grade A essential oils, they don't have an expiration date. They don't have a side effect warning. They're not laced with chemicals. Young Living essential oils, which is really the only brand of oil that I would recommend that you put on your skin, ingest, or use aromatically, inhale them. The only brand that I would recommend would be Young Living, and the reason is because we have a seed to seal promise, and that seed to seal promise guarantees that it's pure from the time that seed goes into the ground, the time that the plant is harvested, from the time that that plant is distilled into the oil, and the time that that oil goes into the bottle. We have a promise and a guarantee that there's not going to be any chemicals that are used to lace with those with the oil. That there's not going to be. We don't use pesticides in our crops. We don't use even organic pesticides because they can change the chemical constituency of the oil, creating an adverse effect or something that's no longer natural. We don't use any of those things in our oils, and because of that, we can claim and tout that we have a grade A oil. Now, one of the things that we do have with a Young Living oil is we do have two different labels. For example, our lemon oil would have a yellow label and it would have a white label. The difference between those two labels is one of those labels is considered a vitality oil. Vitality oils are labeled for ingestion, so they're labeled as a dietary additive or dietary supplement. If you look on the back of that, our lemon oil bottle, it will say that it's safe to ingest. The lemon bottle that has the yellow label will be labeled for therapeutic use, meaning that you can use it on your skin, and that you can use it in massage, for example, if that's what you wanted to use it for. The reason why we have those two labels is because we chose to comply with the FDA that says that you cannot use an essential oil for therapeutic use and for dietary use. You either have to have one or the other. So we have two labels that will clarify the use of those oils. But here's the thing, our seed to seal promise guarantees a pure essential oil that could be used in both purposes. So inside that bottle, you have the same oil. But we've complied with the FDA, which gives us a therapeutic use as well as a dietary additive use. So when it comes to other essential oils and other grades of oils, you lower the grade as you get to grade B, as you get to grade C, as you get to grade D, you're lowering the grade of oil. And some of those oils, they use chemical solvents, for example, to extract the oils. Or they use a process that's called fractionation. I don't know if you're familiar with coconut oil. If you get the pure raw coconut oil, it's solid at a certain temperature and then it's liquid when it's warmer. But then you have what's called fractionated coconut oil, and fractionated coconut oil is always liquid. The fact that that's always liquid, what they've done to that oil to make sure that it's always liquid is they removed some of the lower notes, as you will, if you will, the heavier chemical constituents of that oil. They removed it so that that oil is now lighter and it's always liquid. But fractionated coconut oil, being always liquid, doesn't have the same it's not the same as the whole coconut oil. Well, when you fractionate an essential oil, what they're doing is they're taking out those undertones of the oil, and they're taking out part of the chemical constituency of that oil. So a fractionated essential oil, which you, by the way, you would never see them say, they would not admit that it's a fractionated essential oil, but a fractionated essential oil, some of the therapeutic values of that oils have been removed because it's not the whole oil. They would fractionate an oil, for example, when they want to make it a more pleasant smell. For example, lavender oil. It's a floral scent. When you have the pure lavender oil, it might have a little earthy or a kind of like, it smells like a plant. It smells like dirt, and some of our more earthier tones will smell like dirt because it's the pure, it's the whole oil. There's nothing fractionated, there's nothing taken away. And so the efficacy of that oil is there strong because there was nothing removed from that oil. And so as you get down to the lower grades of oil, the second or the third or the 10th distillation of oil, it's not as pure, it cannot be considered grade A, it's not as efficient on the body to use for therapeutic value, and then it doesn't do the body as good as the grade A oil would do. And then when you get all the way down to grade D oil, that would be your floral water. That's what we would call the trash of the oil. That's the throw off of the distillation process. And it has a hint of the oil or the smell, the fragrance of the oil, but the therapeutic value of that oil is removed.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, we're going to close out here with from my garden, and we thank Tracy again on touching on essential oil, and we'll of course keep you updated on this here and bring you more insightful information. Well, until next time, eat well, be well.